Hello everyone and welcome to Imola PSGL in the home of Italy, home of Ferrari, so it's going to be a rather good one as we are driving the Ferrari, of course. Super critical race to get the qualifying right, because really the track position is pretty key here. If you're outside the top 3 positions, it's pretty hard to overtake. My ideal strategy going into this race is starting on the mediums and then swapping to the soft tyres later on in the race, but as you're going to see, that's not going to completely pan out. I do also have to touch upon the fact there's a lot of non-attendance in this race, such as Jarno, Alvaro, many other examples are there. But the lap times are still super competitive, really close to esports lap times as well. In the build-up to this race, I didn't really do much practice in all honesty. I only did like 3 or 4 hours on the build-up. That's mainly just because we still have access to the F1 22 game, so I prefer to be putting my time into building up to the next esports championship. Rather than playing F1 2021, really, that I already know everything that I need to know about. But you can see, skipping to the end of the Q1 lap, and we are comfortably inside the top 15 to go through to Q2. You can see, the top 7 within a tenth, a 0.5 in Q1 is actually pretty quick still. See, now at the end of Q2, I opted to try and do a run on the medium tyres, see if I could try and sneak through and start inside the top 10 on the mediums, but it just wasn't meant to be. Everyone else went to the soft tyres, so naturally when you're a tyre that's about a second lap slower, naturally it's basically impossible to go through. So we go out at the very end on a set of soft compound tyres. You see, that's why the delta is so far up, and we are currently 2 tenths up on the P11 time of Luke, what really should put us through quite comfortably. So we don't really need to take too many risks in the final 2 corners really, and it does hook up pretty nicely. But up to the line, and this is going to see where we're going to go, and we do go all the way up to P5, what does turn into P7, and we only just actually make it in by a quarter of a tenth. So you can see this field is competitive. Like, we have so many quick drives. Fabrizio Donoso, for example, only just getting through as well. But this is my first run in Q3. I'm on a new set of soft tyres because I had to use 2 runs in Q1, so it compromised me here. But this is honestly one of the best laps I could have imagined to do on Imola with these set of tyres. And you can see really hooking up the apex quite well. A little bit wide there, but I did make up more enough time on the exit to compromise here. A 49.0 in the middle sector split on used tyres is actually pretty good. Honestly, that's not really too far off what I was doing for esports practice. See, now into the final 2 corners, it's really important to hook the left tyre over the curb and then get 2 wheels on that green part of the curb, and it will just rotate you around beautifully. So the final corner is basically perfect. Right up to the line, and we do go provisionally fastest on a 0.4, but this is the lap that counts. See, we're currently P2. Alfie is new to the league. Recently got his PC, so he's first time doing the PC league at the moment. So rapid, super respect to Alfie for what he's doing at the moment. But down to turn 1, super important to throw it in, full commitment. See, braking just before the 50-meter board, jump over the curb, and you can see using up all the curb on the exit. Perfection for the first couple of turns. Now swing it in, down 1 gear, now down to 5th gear, use the curve for rotation. We get a little bit of understeer right up against the white line, but we do go purple in sector 1, 10th and a half up. Use the exit curve here just to straighten the car, get a bit better traction. Past Fabrizio Donoso on the straight, nicely gets it away. Thank you so much for that. Now one of the most difficult corners, down 1 gear, flick it in, don't take all the curb on the inside, use up all the curb on the outside though. Acqua Minerali, super difficult, get the car as straight as possible in the braking zone. You see we missed that apex a little bit there, but the traction was still really good. Through the chicane, you need full commitment just into 0.8 in the middle sector. Full commitment, and you can see that was absolutely beautiful there. Almost 2 tenths up, but now we've got the Williams ahead. Was a little bit of a distraction to us. Takes away from the opportunity to open up this corner more. But you see braking, we hook up this first apex beautifully. Almost 2 tenths up on the delta, but we just turn in a little bit too early for the final corner.
I kind of choked the final corner.
And you can hear me saying that I choked the final corner, but we do go to a 0.3, and I was actually very happy with that, and that does put us on pole position by half a tenth. Again, the top 6 separated by less than a tenth of a second. The standard of PSGL is extremely high, no matter who's driving in the grid. But to the end of the formation lap. Now, because we're starting on the soft tyres, we need to absolutely nail the start, try and break the DRS and run away with the race from there. But easier said than done. As you can see, on the face cam, I was having some issues with my socks because I was feeling quite uncomfortable on my foot. So you can see me now just getting back into my position now. But yeah, should be alright. But looking to box around like 8 laps, 10 laps into the race and go to the medium compound tyres. There are some people outside the top 10 starting on the mediums. They will be attacking us hard at the end of the race. But right now, we need to get full focus on to the race start. All the cars are on the good position. You can see the game is loading now and the lights are coming on. 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 lights, 5 lights. Lights out and away we go. You can see we actually get an absolutely beautiful start. Pulling away from everyone. What meant we could start saving a little bit of battery. We tried to give other people some slipstream because if they battle down to turn 1, will give us the opportunity to pull away a little bit deeper to turn 1. Get the rotation nicely though. You can see lots of battling behind us and there's going to be carnage. 3 wide and Ruben has hit the wall and it's absolutely chaos at the start of the race. And instantly a virtual safety car has came out.
Did you hear me already laughing
And now,
before?
the question is, do we box for hard tyres and try to go to the end? If it was a full safety car,
I don't think
for
it's
sure.
worth the box for hard on a VSC, is it? Like...
But you can hear me saying, I just don't think it's going to be worth it.
I don't know of how long
And
it's gonna last.
that's just purely because on a full safety car, you rejoin all the way
No, I
to
don't
the
think
back
it's
of the
going to
pack.
last till the end of the pit lane.
On a virtual safety
people
car,
are
you're
saying
still
don't
going to
box.
lose like 14,
But I need to get
15
on with this Delta
seconds.
because me and Jack can put away here.
And the difference is, on the full safety car, it's basically impossible to
But don't
catch
get a
up
drive.
if you don't have that compromise. But already
Okay,
being
I'm gonna
15
go just in
seconds
case it
behind,
ends, but
the
thank
new
you.
tyres around Imola are so powerful. And that's where you'll get overhauled. But safety car, virtual safety car is ending. And you can see we're accelerating. This is quite a difficult phase. I don't want to get a drive through. And the virtual safety car ends as I'm braking for the corner. So I lose all the advantage that I had. And I was really close to being on the limit of the virtual safety car. But I had to brake because the Delta is so sensitive on the virtual safety car. I didn't want to take any risks. But end of lap 1, skipping to the end of lap 3. See, Jack was pushing really hard in these first few laps. I didn't quite understand because I was just saving my battery, saving my tyre. He wants to overtake me on DRS. So I'm going to let him pass and I will start saving my tyres and saving battery. Everything to make my race easier is actually him being in front of me right now. So I'm happy for him to lead on to lap 4. See, through the first chicane, first time in dirty. I take it a little bit conservatively, but now skipping on later to lap 5. That is saying from the preview window. But now you can see we're following Jack, and Jack is pushing so hard. You can see sliding the tyres. He doesn't need to be doing this. You can see me and Jake, I think Jake as well is saving his tyres. I'm definitely saving my tyres. And it's going to pay me off hugely at the end of the stint. See, Tino retires there, but it's in the pit lane, so it's not going to cause a safety car. See, Jack does let me past into turn 1, so we don't even use any battery. We just go through very calmly. And you see Jake tries to have a little look at Jack, but is unable to do anything.
Okay.
Jack has a little look back, but really he just wants to follow me and save his battery, save his ERS. So now, lap 9. See, Jack flies past me on the straight. I've used a little bit of battery now just to try and make sure that Jake doesn't overtake me on the straight, because it's quite easy to lose 2 positions on the straight here because how long it is, how powerful the DRS zone is as well. But end of that lap, Jack is indeed going to fly into the pit lane, trying to do the undercut. Remember, we were 3 attempts behind him though as he goes into the box. This is going to be super relevant later, and we need to try and decide how much we're going to push on this lap. See, Jake is 4 attempts behind me, and we all know Jake is a phenomenal driver, so he's going to stick there. I presume he's been saving his tyres pretty well in this stint as well. But now skipping forward onto the end of lap 10, you see we pulled up to 8 attempts in the middle sector, went green. Of course, that was assisted by the DRS at the start of the lap, but still showing all the pace that we had in the bag. See, we faked to the pit lane because we don't want to give Jake the opportunity to undercut. We want 2 lap fresher tyres compared to Jack if we can get away with it. But if Jake was to undercut
medium
me,
chat, isn't it?
It would have been a
Confirm
really bad
medium,
situation,
please?
and I would have risked coming out in P3. So like this, it gives us a much better opportunity. See, now we're going to ride on board for the entirety of the in-lap, because I think this was one of my best laps of the whole Grand Prix and even qualifying session combined, considering the grip we had. You can see right on the limit of the white line there, Jake going a little bit wide. See, 3 attempts down in the first sector, but that's just, again, because of the DRS that we didn't have on this lap, fighting the rear a little bit, completely on the limit of grip, squirting the battery up the hill, because we are going to regain a bit in the pit lane. So that's a little tip for you as well. On your in-laps, use a bit more battery, because you are going to regenerate 40 to 50%. If not more. Some tracks have longer pit lanes on the pit lane line. So it's always good to use it on the in-lap. You see, again, Preston again. But the rear tyres are still really good. We're only losing a 10th in the middle sector compared to the previous lap, and we've been pushing completely flat out. So the rear grip is still good, confirming that we're going to box this lap. But around Imola, it's so critical to save the rear tyres. You have so many traction zones, especially at the final corner, and you're going to see it's going to pay me so much dividends later, my ability to save the rear tyres. But now, coming into pit lane, super important to brake as late as possible. We are just going to get it stopped by 2 miles an hour. You can see, say, we don't want to be held, of course, because that'll give us a disadvantage.
If I get held, I'm going to cry.
I'm going to cry.
Big time, big sad.
Oh my god, okay, sorry, I always love listening back to my reaction to the race. I generally don't even remember what I'm saying, but...
Wait, is Jack West on the
generally,
softs?
I'm just memeing to myself in the middle of the race. But you see, coming out of the pit lane, spamming the battery to get the pit limiter off as fast as possible. And you can see, Jack has rejoined only 3 attempts in front of me. We went 2 laps longer.
Oh no, I got confused
on the tyres. And he hasn't even got any advantage from it. So we're in a super good position right now. Skipping onto lap 14. As you can see, Alfie has got a 3-second time penalties, but he's pushing me and Jack so hard. I don't really fully understand his intention there, because realistically, what he should have done is actually just followed us and tried to work with us rather than making us battle. But now I've gone past Jack and I'm going to slipstream them for a few more laps while trying to save my tyres. You can see onto the end of lap 16. And this is going to be another example of it. Coming out the final sector, I was super strong there, like I say, with the traction. So up to 6 attempts, 7 attempts as well.
Oh no.
Alfie. You can see they're both pressing the
I
battery.
smell carnage. Get away from me, guys.
But they're both
spamming
the battery.
Oh my god, be gone. Go away, go away, go away.
I don't get it. I really don't get it. I understand Alfie wants to be aggressive and he wants to try and get up to P2. But the way that they're doing it, they both are doing it super inefficient. Of course, they're both young league racers.
Wow, they're behaving for 1 lap. And I'm out of battery, so great.
You can see that me saying that behaving for 1 lap, because I'm not even exaggerating. Basically, every lap they were trying to fight each other into this corner and wasting each other's battery. And of course,
anyway, I'm done crying, so...
there's drivers on the medium tyres right now going onto the softs very soon, what will have a huge pace advantage. So every 10th that we lose right now is going to be a big disadvantage to us at the end of the race. Starting lap 23, we've got 6 tenths to Jack. And
ain't no way he's reading chat.
really, it's super important for me as well
I totally
to
look
try
at the
and manage
apex
my
when I'm
battery
driving.
right now. You see, got Alfie and Jack coming right up again, but Jack does not want to pass us, so he's braking super early for the corner. And Alfie, I think, almost crashed into the back of him. But you can see now, end of lap 26, start of lap 27. And my battery is actually getting pretty low at the moment. So I really need to try and save it for the final build-ups of the laps. Otherwise, I'm just going to get mugged on the straight. And really, I wanted to really work with Jack. Because if he overtook me and we kept on overtaking each other on the straight, we would actually build each other's battery. And would actually help each other. But we wasn't able to do that. And you can see the start of lap 30, end of 29 on the straight. You can see there's going to be a lot of carnage down to this corner as well. You can see everyone's panning out, everyone's fighting. And you can see Jake almost makes it 3 wide, but backs out of it very, very wisely. And we actually get a little hit on the rear from Jack there as well. And that's why I see this guy, because it's getting to the end of the race. It's super tense. Only a few laps to go. And I can tell you right now, it's going to get even more tense. This first corner on the start of lap 31 is going to be defining for this race. So buckle up. It's going to get intense. See the final corners. This is really where the race is won or lost. Through these final corners, get the traction down. Really trying our hardest. 7 tenths we've built the gap up to on the exit of the final corner. Super healthy. But you can see now, Jake and Jack are both pressing their battery. It means I have to press my battery to try and defend. You see Jack staying behind me. Jake's trying to go around the outside. And we're going to cut to the broadcast footage. Because you can see panning 3 wide. And you see Jack actually hits me from behind and pushes me off and actually spins Jake in the same incident. And now we're going to cut back to my onboard, and that's going to show us exactly what happened. You can see getting pushed off.
I'm so sorry, Jake.
And you see, I actually thought it was my fault.
I'm so sorry, Jake. No, Jake, I'm so sorry.
And this...
Nah, Jake, I'm so sorry, man.
This is why I was saying I'm so sorry.
I didn't mean to do that.
Because I thought it was my fault. But when you actually look at the footage from the broadcast, you could very clearly see it wasn't my fault. And it was actually Jack who hit me, then hit Jake in the next corner. But Jack is young, he's learning, so these things can be normal. So yeah, there's no reason to have bad feeling to him. But coming up to the final sector of lap 31. The start of lap 32, the final lap of the race, is the best opportunity to overtake down to turn 1. He's got Alfie with a 3-second penalty. He's got nothing to lose. And Jack is the closest he's ever been to me through the chicane now. Only half a second. Normally at this point, the gap is over 6 tenths. So, I know I have to do basically the perfect final 2 corners. Hook the curb in. That was pretty good. Now the final corner, we run a little bit wide, but we do get amazing traction. Now we build up to 6.5 tenths on the exit of the corner. We still have a decent amount of battery left. See, going super tight, trying to break the slipstream, using a bit of a different line. But at this point, we realise we're going to be safe.
Jake, man, I'm sorry.
Saying sorry again to Jake because I still believed it was my fault. But of course, obviously, looking at the footage, it's obvious that it's not my fault. But final lap of the race. We just have to keep calm, not do anything stupid. And this mine, to be honest, I was still thinking about Jake Instant. So I ran a little bit wide and just covering the inside to make sure Jack doesn't do any desperate lunges.
Refocus, man.
But you can see, need to refocus. That's what I said in the broadcast, just because that's honestly how I felt. I was so feeling bad for Jake that I said I need to refocus for this final set to wrap up this final set to try and hopefully take the victory through Aqua Minerale for the final time. Hook up the curve, make sure we get good traction. We don't need to do anything special now. All we have to do is not make mistakes and we'll be able to take home the win through this chicane. Make sure we're quick through here because Jack, final lap of the race, of course he's going to try and send it and make up time. 4.5 tenths. Use the rest of the battery that we have. Check the tyres for one final corner to make sure we're not going to get a puncture. Now into the second to last corner of the race. Get the car in. Final corner of the race. Don't make sure not to throw it into the barrier. Press the ERS for the run up to the line, and we do win. PSGL in Imola, taking my second win of the season. You can see my emotions are a bit mixed because I still thought I was at fault for the incident with Jake, but
was it Jack or me?
And you can see now I'm starting to realise on the face cam it's not my fault. But anyway, enough of that jibber jabber. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. We got one more round left at Bahrain coming up on next Wednesday. So be sure to tune into my live stream and you can watch the race happen. If there's more carnage, hot laps, anything, I'm sure that you'll have a great time. But either way, thank you so much for watching and I'll catch you guys and girls next time. Grazie, ciao, ciao.